Hey, it's Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it's Monday. It's July 14th, and this will be our chart lesson for the day. Couldn't get that word out for some reason. Real quick, before we get started on the chart lesson, just a reminder, there will be no mid-morning chart tomorrow and no chart lesson tomorrow. I have a doctor's appointment in Memphis, and so it's going to take up most of my day. And so I'm just going to take the day off tomorrow for that reason. So it's about an hour drive for me, hour and 15 minutes to the doctor there. So, but I'm seeing a heart specialist for my AFib situation, and hopefully we'll get to the bottom of it. And it's still hit or miss. I've been some days I go into AFib temporarily, and some days I don't. I have normal heartbeat all day long, so it's still odd what's going on. But hopefully they will figure it out for me and get me straightened out, and I can kind of get back to normal again. But anyway, that's the plan for tomorrow. So again, no, I'll just be taking the day off tomorrow. No mid-morning chart and no chart lesson. So when you don't see those, you'll know why. But anyway, let's get to today's chart lesson. You can see that we had another update today. We actually closed higher than we did the previous day. We opened lower and traded lower, but reversed and closed up. So we bounced off this support a few times. I'm still not ready to say we're going to push higher yet, but we did relieve some of the overbought territory. We could go up from here. So just, but we are in a tight range here, it appears. So just be careful trading this. You can see it. I would call that it right there. So I would be careful going long into that resistance or short into that support. That would be my, if you can get long off the lows or short off the high, maybe. Um, but we're not trading this chart anyway, but that just be careful. I would look for these locations on your 2000 tick chart and pay close attention to them. Don't get short into them, and don't get long into. Um, don't get short into the support or long into the resistance, and you'll save yourself a lot of heartache. So, but there it is. We're still in this sideways congestion. Maybe just consolidation before we make another leg up. We'll have to see. Or we could be running out of momentum, and we may eventually correct from here. So, but to me, it looks like we're just correcting sideways, and that's usually a sign of possibility of going higher. So, with that in mind, let's flip over to the 2000 tick chart, take a look at it, and we'll go through the trades. Not a lot of trades today. It was another big uptrend day. I say a big uptrend day. We did close well up today, but it was not a very strong high momentum trend. It was just mostly kind of a 45-degree angle normal trend up, maybe a little flatter than 45 degrees. So really you could trade it both ways because it was not a real steep, strong trend. But let's flip over there and take a look at it, and we'll go from there. Okay, here it is, and you can see it's not a real strong trend. A 45-degree angle will pretty much go from corner to corner, and you can see we're kind of going from the middle of the screen towards the corner, so it's kind of a mild uptrend. And when you see prices continually swinging above, it's definitely an uptrend because the EMA is pointed up. But when you're swinging back and forth above and below the EMA that much, you can trade it both ways. It's almost like a range, a sideways range with just a little bit of an angle on it. So hopefully that makes sense. Don't try to do this on a strong trend that's 45-degree angle or higher, but when they're flatter like this, you can often trade it both ways. And I talked about that in the mid-morning chart. But there it is. It's a little spiking channel up. And again, not a super strong one. It was strong early, but that was to fill that gap most likely. And you can see we here's the close from Friday, and then we opened up way down here. So there was a big gap on the chart, and prices didn't waste any time filling that. And then we just kind of chopped sideways before continuing on up. So that's how I saw it today, and it's possible. I never did go back and double check it, but you can see it's possible that maybe there's a steeper channel here. But I pretty much like the way it fits the other way. You can see you can't say that that's not correct the way I'm playing it there, but you're not getting anywhere near that upper trend channel anymore. And here we're surpassing. I think it fits better like this, so that's the way I played it. But let's zoom in here and we'll go through the trades. You can see there's supposed some short and longs, and there's another possibility here. I didn't mark it, but you may trade that trade right there. But let's zoom in here and take a look at it. There was no news today, so you didn't have to worry about anything like that. 7 o'clock came right in here, I believe. It was on this bar right here, and we made one more push up. There's not really a good setup there to go short, and there's not one to go long. And then we're working. We did get what I'd call a triple test here, but the signal bar is not good enough. Then we had like a double top. We're still making lower highs and lower lows. This was a second entry long, and we did get a break and a new low here, so I like going long on that one. Then we come back and make a double top and then a triple test, and that's also a second entry short when it breaks below that bar, so I really like that setup. Sometimes it's hard to switch gears like that when you're thinking long here and then suddenly it reverses. So if you missed one or the other looking for one, it's easy to miss the other one. So if you're honed in on longs here, it's easy to miss this short. You might even still be in your long trade. So, and then if you hone in on this short, you might have been hoping for a triple test rather than going long. Although at this point, that's the first break of this channel, so you're still thinking long. So a second entry long, I think you have to go long right there. The hard part is kind of switching gears when you get this triple test to a short. So you could take either one of those. And of course, we run down here and we bounce, and we pretty much confirm. I think the trend line should be a little lower here. We pretty much confirm this trend channel working up here. We bounce there and we run up. We get a first entry, then we make a lower high with a second entry short. I don't know that I go short after this closes, but before it breaks higher first and fails and turns down. So, and that's all green. So you could trade that as an engulfing bar. 95% of you should not trade engulfing bars. You should just skip them and wait for them to close. But if you know what you're doing and you understand what's going on here, you could take that trade. I don't think I would go short after this closes right there, right into the EMA. Not after a strong move up like that. Although you do get a close outside a new high, kind of all in one bar. It's questionable if you really get one. But when you get that break higher that fails instantly and turns down, that's generally going to trap people. And as long as you got room back to the EMA, I'd take that trade. I don't think I would take it once it closes because you're too close to the EMA. And you see it tries to bounce there, but it ends up going lower before it bounces. This is like a third entry long here, and you're kind of working. You're really working more sideways than you are up here, but it's still got an upward bias to it. And there is a lower high here, but it's just too congested. And then you get two legs down and a second entry long here. And this actually breaks lower and reverses and turns up. I like that trap. You may not could get in it because it goes really fast, but if you could get in that, you want to go long there. And of course, you're working up, close outside, new high, and there's a second entry short right here. You got to wait for that to close. Another nice move down. It's two legs down, but no chance to go long there, unfortunately. And then you're just kind of working sideways here. Now, you do have a failed breakout, but we just came off the lower side. We didn't quite get there the last two times, and we pretty much got a triple test across there. So I don't know that I want to go short here, but you might consider going long, and there is room to get out right there. I don't know if you want to call that a triple test, though, so it's just like a double bottom, really. But it's a chance to go short, or I'm sorry, long, at the support of some sideways stuff. And generally, they'll break it out one side to try to get it to go the other way, and it looks like they ended up running the stops on both sides before it went higher. But maybe you go long right there. I don't think I'd go short. Runs up. There is a second entry long here, but that just looks like one leg. It doesn't even look like one leg down. You need 3 bars, 3 trend bars to make a leg. And you only have 1, 2, and that's an inside bar. So there's not 3 trend bars there. You only have 2 here. That's third bar, but it's not trending down. It's trending back up. So you don't have 3 trend bars on either one of those. It just looks like some congestion with a failed break lower, and then it turns back up and goes sideways again. So I don't see anything there I like. If you had a good signal bar here, maybe you would have gone long, but no, you just end up with some more congestion there. It ends up going higher, but there's just no setup there. So you finally turn down right here, and you actually, this is what I think happens here. You're moving down. Actually, that's going to be on this next one. You're moving down, you just get a close outside and then you low. There's no long or short here. You would expect a possible push, try to push higher, but what you'd end up getting is a two-legged correction that's equal to one leg. Then you get another leg up, and then another leg, two legs down, similar to this one. Again, there's a two-legged correction in the middle of this move down and this move down. So you get another two legs down. So you end up really with two big legs down with two legs on each one and a couple of legs in the middle. It's a lot harder to see. It's really advanced, but it's a two-legged correction. And a lot of times that's going to be the center of your pattern after this big move up. So you may get another move like that. It doesn't end up happening because we're too close to the highs of the range, but that's what you would expect, maybe some more upward movement here. And that's what happens. And I like trading this as a second entry, even though by the counts it's not. But you can clearly see a leg down, two-legged correction, and another leg down. Plus, you got a leg down correction, another leg down. So there's multiple counts of twos in there that would lead you to believe this could go higher. Unfortunately, it didn't break above that, so actually I take all that back. You couldn't go long there. That's why I guess I didn't mark it the first time. It's not an engulfing bar, so you have to wait for this to close, and then it doesn't break above that bar, so just scratch all that. But anyway, it was still worth explaining all that to you. If you'd got a break above this, you could go long there if you saw that and understood that. If you don't, that's a little more advanced. Don't worry about it. It'll take, with time, you'll start to get that. But there's just no other opportunity to enter. You get a close outside here and a couple of legs up, and there's no short either. So I don't see anything there that's worth trading. Actually, you make a new high here, and you get a first entry, and then another higher low, and this breaks lower and fails and turns up. So now you got a second entry long right there. You could trade that on the engulfing bar or wait for this to close and go long either way. You actually get a higher low here, but no real setup there. This bar doesn't qualify, and by the time this one closes, it's probably good enough to qualify as a signal bar, but now you're going long into a triple top across there, and that's a big no-no. You wouldn't want to do that. So no way, no reason to go long there. Turns out to be a good move up, but you just can't risk that. And then you just get a first entry, and there is a second entry here, but that looks a little sideways. We've already moved all the way down to the EMA and trying to come back, so I think you just have to sit tight there, and you can see it's just congestion. And then we finally drop down, and there is a new high right here, and you get a first entry and second entry. I marked this green. It's possible this is more like this. I ended up drawing I think that's how it is, because you get your break and a couple of moves down and then it tries to reverse. But it could have been like this too. And you get a close outside here, but you don't have a new low in place. And notice it does come back and make a new low before it moves higher again. So it's questionable if you want to enter there. I marked it green because this could be correct on the read. And you got two legs up, so you just get another measured two legs down, just like I kind of explained over here. Let me draw it out for you so you can see it. I would draw it more like that. This is just a lot of stem, but you could draw it like that. A lot of times if you get a big stem like that, it's probably going to be more like you're going to be able to look at some of the other bars and get a better idea. And you can see it's pretty much two measured legs down. And there's a two-legged correction in the middle. So that two-legged correction can sometimes be one leg and you get another equal leg, and there it is. So it's very similar to this right here. It's almost a repeat pattern. And if this hadn't been after 2 o'clock, I'd say, hey, this is a nice second entry here. You could go long, but it's well into 230. So, but there it is. Not a lot of trades today. Just it's all uphill. I mean, it's amazing that we just keep going higher. Actually, the last few trading days we've closed higher, but we're just kind of chopping sideways. But there's a lot of movement like today, but there's just not a lot of setups. So, one day we might get 20 easy to perfect setups, and other days you're going to be like today, and you're only going to get a handful of trades, and it's just a lot of sitting and waiting and being patient. And this is what really separates disciplined traders from non-disciplined traders, because you have to be patient and you have to be disciplined. You have to follow the rules. I had a trader that sent me. I uploaded his trade Friday, which was a great trade. Well, he sent me another one today. I didn't get a chance to upload it today, and obviously I won't tomorrow because I won't be here. But before the end of the week's up, I will upload this trade. And he made a couple of mistakes in this one and didn't really catch it until I pointed it out to him. So it's a good learning opportunity for not only him, it'll be for the rest of you too. So I will upload that before the week's over. Another trade. It turns out to be a great trade. He gets a nice runner on it too. If I remember correctly, I can't remember how much he got on the runner, but he does get a runner. And but he did make he was a little late entering the trade and made a little bit of a mistake, but it worked out for him. And so those kind can come back to haunt you if you're late or early or whatever. That's usually the problem. If your chart reads good and you still have a loser, it's usually because of timing. You're either a little bit too early or a little bit too late. And but those are easily correctable to some degree. If there's a good signal bar and that kind of thing, then no, you may not be able to correct it. But it'll be worth showing you that trade, and it's a good learning example. So anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. Again, no chart lesson tomorrow, no mid-morning chart tomorrow. I will be taking off for my doctor's appointment, and hopefully I'll get some answers on my irregular heartbeat and figure out what's going on with me, and hopefully get that straightened out, and get back to. I mean, like I said before, I'm feeling fine. I worked on some of my personal projects all weekend and worked hard, had long days, and I felt fine. But when you start to deal with your heart, you want to, you want to be careful, and you want to know that everything's working properly. And so I do want to get it checked out and try to find out what's going on with me, and get that behind me, I hope. But anyway, I'll be back Wednesday. Hope you have a great day tomorrow without me. I'll see you Wednesday. This is Matt with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.